kill for Josh today. He's been a big part of the penalty killing unit that's been up there most of the year. Why is he such a good penalty killer, do you think?
Yeah, I think when Kenny and Tip identified the personnel for the penalty kill this summer, when Archie was identified, it was brought on for probably the pace, the way he kills. He's a real smart killer. He's really good awareness of the league and the players in the league. But I think he sets the pace and the tone for our penalty kill. I mean, he does a really good job at it, obviously, and yeah, that's exciting news.
It's not just those guys on the PK, which has been number 2 for a couple of weeks now. I mean, just overall, is it confidence? Is it just execution? Is it goaltending? Why has it been up there?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of all those things. I think obviously everyone knows goaltending is such a big part of it, but I think the structure and the commitment to compete that the players have bought into. We block a lot of shots. We get into a lot of scrums. We stay in the scrums until the job is done. I think we do a lot of little detail things, but collectively, they have confidence in what they're doing out there together, and I think that's a big part of your penalty kill, and the team has confidence in the penalty kill now. So I think that the structure is one thing, but obviously you have really good personnel. I think the goaltending's been really good in it, and it's an important part of our game. And really, your special teams are generally an extension of your 5-on-5, right? So our 5-on-5 for the most part has been good, and it's led into our special teams.
You've had some struggles with some of your players coming back from injury with re-entry. Can you speak to that?
What do you mean by struggles? I'm not sure what you mean by struggles.
Well, Neil, for example, is having his problems getting back up to speed since he's been back. Zach hasn't got quite back. I don't know. It looked okay the last game, I guess. That sort of thing.
Yeah, I don't see that as being a big issue, to be honest with you. I think that the pace of play when players are out, that the league continues to get better, week to week, and I think that catching up to the pace of play is an important part of it. But I don't see that as being a real big issue for us, actually.
So how was Clef able to play all those games with a shoulder that obviously had some debris in it? Did he have to manage his game? Didn't look like he's still playing 25 minutes.
Yeah, I quite honestly, I think Clef's been dealing with that for a while, and I think he's figured out how to get himself prepared with the training staff to play those games and to play the way he's playing. And so now the key to it is the time away, getting it taken care of. We're hoping for a long playoff run. And if this little time away sets us up to have Clef for a deep run into June, then it's a good investment for everybody to make. And I think that's probably one of the ways he looked at it.
How do you see where AA is at coming back into this group?
Yeah, I think he's an interesting player. We watched a lot of him on videotape, and I thought last night was probably their first game. You've seen that explosive skill, that quickness, that tenacity on the puck when he was on the forecheck, and you leave a situation he was in for a long time, and coming to what we're trying to get accomplished. I think there's probably an adjustment period for him to figure out where does he fit in with Connor's line, somewhere else a little bit below that, and so the whole figuring out the line combinations has been something that everyone's been kind of a little bit maybe hesitant on a little bit, but I think that last night I personally thought he had some good pace and quickness to his game.
And what about Connor basically having a helicopter line lately with
Yeah, I don't see that either that way, obviously. I think that when you look at what the transition from the start of the season, what we want to accomplish by this time of year, by potentially having each Connor and Leon drive their own line, we've been successful with that. I think playing meaningful games this time of year, we've been successful with that. The special teams have made an improvement. I think both players are star players that impact every shift they're on the ice. So I think when you stand back and look at it, we haven't identified the lines 100% right now, but we've made some really good progress as an organization moving forward, and like here we are, early March, and we're talking about how we're going to get 4 lines consistently up and playing. So I think we've done a really good job.
When you break the season down into segments, you look at the last 5 or 6 games. You've had a couple of games in there where you've showed a lot of resilience and winning a game that maybe you shouldn't have won. As coaches, do you look at it that way, or do you look at it like maybe we should be playing our best instead of finding a way to win when we don't play our best?
I think the way we're looking at it now is we're looking to prepare ourselves every day to to be prepared to play the game that night. And I think the big picture is going through enough options and scenarios and cases now where we build ourselves into the last 15 games of the season where we're in playoff mode. We're going to go through situations where it's going to be a 1-0 game like it was in Dallas. We have to find our way through. We're going to be down like we were in games last night in Chicago and make a push to come back, and we did that. We're going to play shorthanded. We've done that. We're going to play with both goaltenders. We've done that. So everything that's been structured up till today is getting us prepared to be for the playoffs, for the push of the playoffs and the hunt that goes into the playoffs. So we're looking at these situations now. From the outside, maybe they look like we failed in a particular part of our game or individuals have failed. But that's the adversity it's going to take for us to manage now to be a really good playoff team. So that's kind of how we look at each situation.
Do you look at your defense that you have, one pair plays together every game, but you still have to find two other pairs? I guess Oscar could play with Larson, but then you still need three pairs going into the playoffs, so you can say, okay, here's our three pairs, and then the other two defensemen or whatever are just going to have to wait their turn.
I think it's going to take 8 or 9 to get to where we want to go, and I think that we have the luxury of some guys that shoot left that can play on the right side. We got Greeny coming back. If we're chasing a game, we can put Greeny up with Clef. If we're defending the game, we can put Lars up there. We got veteran experience with Rusty, with Benny. We got young kids coming along trying to figure out how to play this time of year. That this is it's a really good combination when you break it all down and look at it, and we can move players around. So I think having Clef coming in will help stabilize and settle everybody back into positions that I think we all feel are more comfortable in and probably better suited to play. But give those kids credit; they've done a really good job coming in injury situations, and they've worked a long time to put themselves in those situations, and they did a really good job when they were presented to them. So I think it's all part of that package of getting, the month of March and April organized to make sure you're capable of dealing with all types of scenarios that are going to come up now through the month of March and into the playoffs.
What's been your foundation in constructing a pretty solid defense?
Pardon me?
What's been your foundation in constructing a pretty solid defense?
Good goaltending. I think you look at, we got really good veterans. We got really good leadership up to the middle of the ice. I think our forwards have done an unbelievable job in coming back and helping our young defense. I think we've changed our mindset where we encourage our defensemen to try to find pucks up to the middle of the ice and find our forwards into the middle of the ice, as opposed to always going around the boards and having our forwards have to pull pucks off the wall to exit our zone. So I think that method comes with some turnovers, and I think we've done a good job of either the center iceman being there or the forwards being there or the goaltenders covering it up. So I think our group has allowed our defensemen collectively to grow together, and I like the fact that we're trying to get pucks up to our forwards through the middle of the ice a lot more, and those kids are here because they're good puck moving skilled kids somewhere along the line, and now it's getting them to have the confidence to do it in the NHL.
So when you see those 10-foot passes from the goal line, do you go, oh shit, he's passing it through three guys, but you'd rather still do that, make a shorter pass than along the boards, even though there's more people usually.
Yeah, I think that's an intimidating way to break out of your zone. I think good defenses having the courage to make a play that somewhat looks dangerous, but when it's executed, it really gives your team confidence and courage to leave their zone. I think there's times you got to rim pucks, there's times you got to flip pucks out, but in order to be a really good team and play with confidence, you got to put pucks into sometimes areas that we know we're trying to execute, and sometimes they're going to get turned over. So it's something that we want 100% execution on them, but we can live with the odd one that doesn't go, because that's the growth and development I think that the kids are going to improve upon.
How fast do you expect Oscar to get back up to speed?
Yeah, we hope he's from day to hour now. So we hope, and we'll see where he is in the morning. But again, well-conditioned guy, veteran guy. He's gone through, I think, some history in his past of being out for a block of time and coming back, and we it's set up good, right? If you play Saturday, we got Sunday. It's like a playoff series, right? Sunday's off, play Monday, Tuesday off, play Wednesday, Thursday off, play Friday, and we travel. So I think it's a really good time for him to come back, and I think he'll be a good player right away.
How do you see, I'm just worried about Matt Benning. You have a good record when he's in the lineup. He's generally been a plus player. I know plus minus isn't used as much as it used to be. Some nights, he might play 14, 15. Some nights he plays 8, 9. Is that just the game? Is that...
Yeah, I think special teams determine a lot of that. Probably be really honest with you when you go back and look at it. Hey, Benny's a good pro. He's a really hard player to play against in Arizona. I did a lot of videotape with all these guys in the summertime, and the thing kept jumping out at me is how hard Benny competes and what a competitor he is down in our own zone. So he's a really good player. I think getting up the ice, but he's got excellent shot. I think the whole concept is he's just a really good warrior that's been around for a long time, and he's a good player for us. And again, it's like I said to him when Green came and he sat out and said, hey, we're going to need 8 to get to where we want to go. And Green was out 2 games later and Benny's back in. So that's the luxury we have.